Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled we're diving into this today because we are talking about, literally, the most powerful weapon on the planet, the human mind. Seriously, think about it for a second. If you actually know how to use your mind, like truly gain control over its functions and behaviors, there's basically no limit to where it can take you. But to unlock all that incredible potential, you got to understand how the whole shebang actually works. And studying those exact functions and behaviors, well, that's what we call human psychology.
So, let me ask you a question, and I want you to be totally honest here. Who actually needs to study psychology? What immediately pops into your head? Do you picture some dusty university classroom, or maybe someone sitting on a fancy leather couch talking to a therapist? Yeah, we've got these deeply ingrained ideas that studying the mind is, strictly reserved for academics or specific professions. But we really need to challenge that idea right now.
Okay, let's dive into this, because we need to expose a massive myth right off the bat. The myth is that psychology is just some academic or clinical subject. The actual reality? It is an everyday functional tool. It's actively used by massive marketing companies and the top 1% to quietly manipulate the decisions we make every single day. Psychology is operating in literally every aspect of your life: your business, your relationships, your daily interactions. At the end of the day, we're all humans acting in predictable patterns. If you understand those patterns, you stop being manipulated and you finally start taking control. So here's the roadmap for our explainer today. We're going on a journey of self-defense to take back control from all that societal manipulation. First, we'll look at your mind, the ultimate weapon. Then, mastering your inner world, followed by navigating toxic dark sides. After that, we'll cover escaping the algorithm trap, unlocking deep mind concepts, and finally, I'll hook you up with your psychology reading list.
All right, let's kick things off with pillar number 1, your mind, the ultimate weapon.
The very first benefit of studying psychology is simply understanding ourselves. It acts like a mirror for our own thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. When you study psychology, you stop reacting blindly and start recognizing exactly why you behave the way you do in any given situation. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Once you understand the why, you can control your behavior. Think about it. A lot of us are totally bold and confident, roaring like a lion when we're just comfortably sitting at home. But the second we step onto a stage in front of a crowd, boom, completely frozen by stage fright, words just fail us. But imagine if you understood the actual psychological reasons behind that fear. If you understood exactly what behavioral patterns are triggering in your brain in that moment, you could intercept them. You could actively course-correct your behavior right into a positive, confident direction.
And I want to be super clear here. These are not just some abstract theories floating around. Real people use these psychological principles to completely alter their destinies. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. She had an incredibly challenging childhood and battled deep depression for years. But by applying the principles of human psychology, she completely transformed her life, becoming one of the most successful television hosts and producers in American history. Understanding your mind literally changes your life. It's a game changer.
Which brings us right to our second pillar, mastering your inner world.
Look, we just have to face facts. Humans are highly emotional animals. We're constantly bursting with emotions, and what we actually achieve in life is entirely dependent on how emotionally intelligent we become. It's this intense battle we fight every single day, right? Your logic says, wake up early, get to work. But your emotion? It says, just hit snooze, man, 5 more minutes. Your logic says, eat healthy today. But then you walk past a food stall and your emotion screams, eat those momos, it's just one cheat day. Your logic says, do your work. But your emotion says, just scroll through a few more video reels. Our emotions are constantly hijacking our logical goals and pushing us toward things that actively harm our bodies, our minds, and ultimately our futures. So, if you ever want to achieve stillness, silence, and any kind of significant success in your life, you've got to tame this restless mind of yours. And psychology is the exact tool to do it. Step 1, you use psychology to identify the trigger points of your emotions. Step 2, you analyze exactly how they rise up to overpower your logic. Actually, you can't skip ahead here. Only by completing those first 2 steps can you reach step 3, which is actually achieving control and finding that stillness.
Now, let's shift our focus outward a bit to pillar number 3, navigating toxic dark sides.
As you move through life, trying to build success, you aren't just going to encounter good people. You are unavoidably going to cross paths with toxic individuals who can become major headaches if you aren't prepared. So the crucial point is this: every single person has 2 sides. There's the visible side, the face they show the world, which unfortunately is what we usually use to judge them. But then there's the hidden, dark side. This is where people bury their insecurities, their envy, and all their negative emotions. If you don't recognize this hidden dark side, you're leaving yourself completely vulnerable to being harmed by these toxic individuals.
But when you use psychology to recognize and actually anticipate that dark side, well, everything changes. You don't just protect yourself, you actually gain the ability to navigate and even control those interactions. Mastering this aspect of psychology is exactly what builds bulletproof communication skills and turns you into a truly strong, capable leader.
Moving right along to pillar number 4, escaping the algorithm trap. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself why most people just aren't successful? I mean, most people blame bad luck or maybe a lack of consistency. But the source material for our explainer today reveals something far more structured. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it exposes how it's not just bad luck. It's a deliberate trap set by the top 1%. The elite absolutely do not want you engaging with deep concepts. They want to keep the masses totally distracted with cheap entertainment. We're talking reality shows like Big Boss, TV dramas like Noggin, endless celebrity gossip about who wore what, and manufactured cricket drama. Why? Because while your eyes are glued to that, you're ignoring the deep concepts like philosophy, psychology, and wealth creation. The exact concepts that actually build real power.
And if you think you're totally in control of what you consume, think again. Scrolling for hours on end isn't an accident. Millions upon millions of dollars are spent by massive tech companies to hire teams of psychologists, their sole job to study exactly what attracts and addicts human beings. They engineer social media algorithms and app interfaces specifically to trap your attention. It's literally psychological warfare being waged on your free time.
But here's the thing, winners ask questions. When you study psychology and philosophy, you develop incredibly sharp, rational thinking. And make no mistake, rational thinking threatens the control of the elite. Once you finally understand how you're being manipulated by all this cheap entertainment and these sneaky algorithms, you can finally break free from that matrix and start focusing your energy on what actually matters.
That brings us to our 5th pillar, unlocking deep mind concepts.
This is perhaps the most profound reason to study this subject, guys. The human mind is incredibly mysterious, and honestly, science hasn't even begun to solve all the secrets of our subconscious. But those who learn to tap into it, they find incredible power. When you study psychology, you start uncovering these profoundly deep concepts. We're talking about things like the power of visualization, which lets you harness your subconscious to achieve massive goals, understanding your 6th sense, the power of dreams, and one of the most powerful yet unsolved mysteries out there, sex transmutation.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Because sex transmutation is heavily misunderstood. Most people hear the word and immediately assume it's purely physical. It's not. Actually, scratch that. It's far more than that. It is a profound mental art. It's the psychological ability to take raw, intense physical energy and channel it, transferring it entirely into laser-like mental focus, relentless drive, and ultimate greatness.
And hey, if you doubt the validity of this psychological concept, just look at the absolute titans who mastered it. Swami Vivekananda, Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs, Mahatma Gandhi, Nikola Tesla. All of these authoritative historical figures attributed massive parts of their legendary greatness to mastering this exact mental energy shift. It's not woo-woo magic, it's a proven psychological path for top achievers.
All right, we've made it to our final section, your psychology reading list.
So how do you actually start mastering all of this? Well, it's time to get actionable. I want to give you the exact tools you need to begin this journey right now. Our source material highly recommends these 5 essential books to really start mastering human psychology. Number 1, The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Number 2, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Number 3, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Number 4, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And finally, number 5, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Do yourself a favor, grab one of these today and start decoding the programming of your own mind.
Which leaves us with one final, absolutely undeniable question. Will you continue letting the 1% and their carefully engineered algorithms control your mind, steal your time, and dictate your choices? Or will you decide to study human psychology, master your inner world, and finally take your power back today? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start your reading journey right away.